good cities are not only planned but managed. In the next 30 minutes, we set out with visual artists to understand what exactly makes a city good. Delhi is the world's second most populated city with 38 million people. What is the experience of those who live here, those who pass it by? Here are the visual artists who explore this. They look at the state of Delhi's town planning and the state of the mind of its people.
The debris of a dismantled fair, clothes piled up on a barricade. Scores of nameless migrants setting up high-tech exhibitions at Delhi's Pragati Maidan before retiring to the crevices behind the magnificent halls. The contrast framed and mounted on scraps collected from the site by photographer Gauri Gill. Now consider the forced anonymity of Mr. Malhotra's party, a series by artist Sunil Gupta which depicts the everyday life of the queer community in the capital, who make party reservations in fake names, as using real names is a privilege they cannot risk. Atul Bhalla's camera focuses on the resilient oleander which softens Delhi's road dividers.
These canaries are extremely toxic, so that's why I usually had them, because none of the cows roaming around Delhi street would eat them. But they are extremely nice smelling and nobody takes care of them, nobody waters them, nobody gives them manure and anything, but they still flower twice a year.
Bhalla's never say die oleander grows on Delhi's Shadra drain that empties in the Yamuna, one of the capital's most inaccessible and neglected lifelines. Something the visual artist has documented in his series The Yamuna Walk.
I walk the length of the river from where it geographically enters Delhi and where it geographically leaves Delhi. The rural space is fine. The moment you cross Wazirabad bridge, you come to the urban space, then you can't walk, because there are a number of drains that fall into right? So you can't have a relation with the river. The other part is the architecture. Most of the Mughal architecture and the British architecture, all of them have terraces and lookouts, and they were facing the river. But architecture, urban planning since 1954 has been the other way around. It is all facing inside, it faces the ring road. So literally you have the backside of the building on the river. So if you have a backside towards the river, all you're going to do is dump. We have to change how we look at the city. It has to have access to the river. The only access today is an access of death. Either the cremation grounds or where you dump the ashes.
The city continues to draw the needy, and the needy draw on the city. But this give and take is being denied.
I mean, Delhi has been very welcoming to all immigrants from all over the country, everywhere. Everyone comes to Delhi. There is a nexus between the land mafia and the builder mafia and the estate agents and the municipality.
Chronic distrust of the authorities is also demonstrated as the theme of Asim Wasik's installation at a demolished building.
Delhi is a city of migration. Everybody here has sort of a mentality of occupation, and the way the urban planning mechanisms and Supreme Court rulings have gone in the city in terms of the urban fabric of the city, it has only added to the insecurity. Today people are very scared.
Malini Kochupillai's photographs of African expats in Delhi's Khirki village reveals what she believes is a real city and where it can be found.
Khirki is like a mini city, and it's what cities are all about. It's about access, it's about community, it's about, being in the company of many different people. New York, London, Paris, all these cities are very, very culturally rich, diverse. Khirki to me is like that. A large number of Africans, Afghans, Iranians, people from the northeast, people from Bihar, people from South India, people from, you know, everywhere. I've even seen some Ukrainians in this neighborhood. So.
With a huge transient population and a few people who own property, it is hard to say who is a local at urban villages like Khirki.
There's a Cameroonian kitchen, there's a Ivory Coast kitchen, there's Ghanaian kitchen. So there's different kitchens, and there's a Nigerian kitchen, of course. In any country, if Gujus go to New York, they will set up a small Guju commune and they will have a Guju store and all of that. So similarly, Africans, when they come here, start to find places and pockets where they can feel comfortable amongst themselves.
Khirki, across a plush set of malls in the capital, represents one of the most stark divides between the privileged and the poor. Across the road on the side of Khirki, elders sleep in the open and children play in a space used as a garbage dump. Malini and others from the artists group Khoj have collaborated with urban designers to reclaim the spaces for the children and elders of Khirki.
पार्क और ग्राउंड में बहुत फ़र्क होता है। पार्क में आप खेल नहीं सकते क्योंकि वहाँ के लोग जो ग्राउंड में घूम रहे हैं वो कहते हैं खेलने की जगह नहीं है, तो बच्चों को थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम होता है। नंदन पार्क से बात की थी, यहाँ पे एक नंदन पार्क है, उन्होंने साफ मना किया। फिर हमने चौहान पार्क है वहाँ बात की, तो वहाँ मैच कराए थे, लेकिन वो परमानेंट नहीं है। कम्युनिटी में बहुत सारे अल्फ़ाबेट आते हैं, COMMUNITY, तो वो सब इकट्ठे होकर तभी कम्युनिटी बनता है। तो वो ऐसे ही चाहते हैं कि एक ग्राउंड हो, सब लोग खेलें। ऐसा नहीं कि कोई बड़ा है तो वो नहीं खेल सकता, सब लोग खेलें।
The people who themselves would cycle to work 15 years ago now have 3 cars per household. At some point that lifestyle which has changed from a public life to a private life has happened. And in that transition we've lost whatever that was public in that sense. Hawkers and informal commerce which happens on our public spaces. These people, you know, they come to the city to kind of make a living, step up in life in certain terms. You would never actually see hawkers occupy space which is deeply contested. They'll always be on peripheries of things. They'll be in spaces where people are needed. So actually the reason why hawkers exist is because they're needed.
The engagement of the artist with the surroundings has come a long way from the canvas to the community.
Artists don't see themselves as activists, so we don't say it's an activist thing. Artists have a gentle way of working with communities to make a difference. And personally, I feel it's only when artists work in public spaces that they can come out of being relegated to a fairly, like this white bubble.